Hello, I'm Dr. Lauren Statz, and welcome to the premiere episode of Lauren Statz Presents Fun with Frogs. Over the next 247 weeks, you and I are going to explore the dynamic world of herpetology.
But wait, Dr. S. What's herpetology?
Herpetology is the study of reptiles and amphibians, including frogs.
Cool. I think I just learned something.
Did you have fun doing it?
I'll stay.
Today, we will be talking about my favorite, the wood frog. Lithobates sylvaticus is native to North America, and mating season begins when it emerges from its deep freeze hibernation in the early spring.
Neat.
Here to tell us more is my personal friend and frog expert, Kayla Kiefler.
Hey folks, as you can see here, the wood frog has distinctive coloring around its eyes resembling a robber's mask.
That's interesting, but I thought you were here to tell us about sound production.
Oh, well, sure thing, friends. The wood frog here, as with many other frogs, produce sound first by lowering the floor of their mouth to take in air through the nares into the buccal cavity. The nares then close, the opening into the lungs, called the glottis, opens and air travels into the lungs. The air can then be pushed over the vocal cords in the larynx, which vibrate to produce the sound, and into the two air sacs located under the buccal cavity. The air sacs inflate and act as a resonance chamber which magnifies the sound.
But wait, how does that compare to sound production in humans?
Great question. Well, with humans, sound production involves three separate processes: the lung, the larynx, which includes the vocal cords, and the articulators, which includes the tongue, lips, and jaw. First, the diaphragm rises to push air out of the lung, which then flows through the vocal cords, causing them to vibrate, which produces the sound. And finally, through the mouth, and the articulators shape the sounds into words. The muscles in the larynx change the elasticity and tension of the vocal cords in order to determine the pitch of the sound.
Sweet! That is very interesting, if I say so myself.
Well, here are some graphs to compare the two kinds of sound production.
Here, we listen to the human voice.
I'm going to test my range, starting with high. I can't do it. And then low.
Test my range, starting with high.
Here we listen to the wood frog call. The average call duration in the wood frog is 0.23 seconds compared to 0.53 seconds in humans. The average minimum frequency of the wood frog call was 450 Hz, which is slightly lower than the minimum frequency of the human voice, which was 523 Hz. The average maximum frequency in humans was just over 22 kHz, which is much higher than the maximum frequency in frogs, which was 7,806 Hz. This difference in call frequency can be explained by looking at the hearing ranges of both species. Humans, with a much higher call frequency, are also able to hear sounds in a higher frequency range from 20 Hz to 20 kHz, whereas on average, frogs are only able to hear sounds between the ranges of 100 Hz to 3 kHz.
But why do frogs make these sounds?
Same reasons as humans, of course. Humans and frogs produce sound for defense, communication, and courtship. But the male wood frog makes his distinct sound during the spring to initiate reproduction and find a mate.
Question: how exactly does sound production relate to respiration?
Well, friends, in humans, respiration occurs prior to sound production because it is a cyclic intake of air, and humans can only produce sound when they exhale. In frogs, most of the oxygen required is obtained through cutaneous respiration. Only if the wood frog requires more oxygen, such as during periods of activity, does the wood frog use its lungs for respiration. This allows the rip frog to grow continuously and underwater, as the two systems are separate.
Sweet!
Well, fam, that was enough fun for one episode.
Sure was, Dr. S.
Tune in next week when we discuss sensory receptors, including the eye and the ear.